All right, y'all, I'm back. The powers that be, y'all can call me a conspiracy theorist, but seems like every time I start going in like this, all of a sudden my feed gets cut off. That's interesting. But we're gonna finish up, man. We're gonna finish up. We'll call this part two. We'll call this part two. And I hope you guys come back. Hope you guys are kick back in. And I'll wait. I'll give it some time. I see you, Derek, back in with your big brother. Hit that like button as y'all come back in. Like I said, every time I kind of get in this lane, by no coincidence, my feed always cuts off. They always cut my stream off. I always cut my stream off. I'm gonna keep saying this so everybody gets in here. We gotta let them know that we're not dumb. If I was talking about eating fried chicken, ooh, I just love me some fried chicken. Wouldn't have no problems with my stream, with my connection. I wouldn't have no problems with my connection. But the fact that I'm going in like this, then all of a sudden magically my connection is failing. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot. So if you missed part one, it's up. You can just check out both parts. But we'll call this part two because we're not going to stop. We're not going to quit because they trying to knock me off. Christopher Pilgrim says they hating on you, K. You speak the facts always. All the time, man. It's not no coincidence. No such thing as a coincidence. When I really start to touch on some things, they always cut me off. Always cut me off. I love it. I see you, OG Triple X. SPC 35-year anniversary coming up, man. I need you in the building on that day. So we're talking about the individual who ran on stage and attacked Dave Chappelle in a comedy show recently. They locked him up. They gave him a $30,000 bond. $30,000 bond means you probably got to pay what to get out? About $3,500. I know back in my bail bond days, it was 10% or more, a little more, a little less if you was cutting the deal. 30,000 seemed like a low bond for something like that because that is an assault, right? That's an assault. And we don't know if he had the weapon out, but he was found to be in possession of a deadly weapon. And I'm just saying, man, that whole situation could have went a whole lot differently, man. That could have went bad. Had this guy came on stage with the weapon already out, and I don't know if he did, if he didn't, but he came around there like a defensive end after the quarterback on Dave Chappelle. So the point I was making before they cut me off, before my connection failed, the point I was making was that they don't get upset with you just for general ha-ha jokes. They get upset when you tell the truth on them. That's all this is about. And it doubles when they are not able to cancel you. He was Teflon. Dave was Teflon during that last situation. Jordan says Dave had an angel with him. Yeah. Sometimes we got to be that angel. We got to fight with that angel that's with us. But back to my original point, because I did see, I'm not going to say a couple, I did see one guy trying to criticize having security. Most of us don't move with security like that. But there are times and places where security is absolutely called for. That's just ridiculous to feel, or you called it for security. Yeah, you need security. This man is an international superstar. And we clearly just saw something like this showing itself that can happen to this man. So with that being said, he should have been better secured. He should have been secured a lot better. Now, to address the last point, because we are on subject, so I will address the individual who was making these, what I believe to be ignorant comments. He said, right before I got cut off, I saw his comment. He said, so you're saying, this was my comment. I said that when a person does that, and I stand on that, if a person rushes the stage to do harm to a person that's performing on the stage, I don't care if you're a football player, you're on a basketball team, you a rapper, you a singer, you're a comedian. If a person rushes you on that stage, then whatever happens to that person, I am in favor of it. Beat the living intestines out of him. Because again, you don't know what his intentions was for you. So it's fair game. You fair game. See, you coming at me, I got a right to defend myself and retaliate. Retaliation is a law of God. God didn't create us to just, well, attack me. Go ahead. Didn't create me to do that. To get you up off me. So the guy made the comment and said, so you're saying that violence is the answer? You asking that to the wrong person. You should have asked, was violence the answer to the dude who ran up on the stage and had a fake gun with a knife sticking out of it? What you asking me that for? But to answer your question, if a person runs on the stage to attack you, then yeah, violence is the answer. Yes. That answers the question for you. NRG says your fans will reflect the product of environment you build them. What do you mean by that? I kind of think where you might be going with it. I'm just trying to get a better understanding so I won't misinterpret your comment. You say your fans will reflect the product of environment you build them. Give me an elaboration, NRG. I appreciate the love and the comment. Chris Pizzana says the man definitely learned his lesson and glad Dave is good and his team acted quick. You know, I don't know if he learned his lesson though, Chris, because like I said, I saw his face. He didn't look banged up enough for me. He didn't look banged up enough for me. And sometimes when you don't really get them like you should have got them, they walk away like, man, I didn't come right. I should have came different. They start trying to figure out what they did wrong to do it better the next time. See? Canelo Great White Hope Alvarez says anyone who is controversial politically should have security right now. The world is at its peak of political war. And we're just at a heightened sensitivity level right now. And we're dealing with a lot of hypocrisy among certain groups of people. Let's just call it for what it is. They're just hypocrites. Because some of the same things that they complained about and the same things that they fought against, the same oppressions that they fought against, that they felt other people were imposing on them, now that they are in positions of power, they're imposing them same oppressions on other people. They're using that power to demean other groups of people. See, that's why certain people you can't give power to. You ever had a coworker and y'all was on the same level and y'all was cool, y'all was tight, and then that person got a promotion and now they was over you and they changed. They just, not to say they shouldn't do their job and hold you accountable, but they just changed. They totally different. They like a dictator now. It's like, man. Codeine, appreciate the donation, man. Hope you have a blessed day. And who you got tonight? Protect Chappelle. And look, this ain't just about Dave Chappelle, y'all. It's not. Because again, I mentioned that in my video I made when the Will Smith slap first happened. I said this is going to open the door. This could potentially open the door for more people to feel empowered to start running up on stages. So this ain't just about Dave Chappelle. This is about protect you, him, her, you, them, anybody who stands up before people with a microphone. Because world leaders and presidents are not safe. They never have been. We talked about this a while back. I remember being a young dude and seeing Ronald Reagan get shot. He was the president. I seen the cat throw a pair of shoes at George Bush's head. That boy Bush was like, he had some good head movement. So it's not just about Dave Chappelle, man. It's a principle in this. You know, I don't do celebrity stuff just to be doing it. It's a principle in this that applies to everybody if we pay attention. This is representative not of just an isolated incident. This is representative of a social climate that we're living in right now. This is a social climate that we're living in right now. So we have to be aware of the climate, of the atmosphere. We have to be able to do, as they say, read the room. It's not like it used to be. Dave Chappelle is a intellectual comic. He's a intellectual comic who covers political topics. He deals with topics of the day. He deals with sensitive issues. He does not shy away from those issues. He's not what they call a safe comedian. That's why people love him, though. Just like a rapper. Nobody wants to hear this guy who's always just walking on the middle of the line and he never expresses an opinion this way or that way. I'm just walking that line. There's no time for that in this day and age, because we have now entered into a time frame where we are in a game that has no sidelines on it. It's not just a spectator sport. You are in the game. You thought you was a spectator. You was watching, you was buying a ticket. You bought a ticket. You thought you ain't just a spectator no more. The real, I appreciate the love, man. Going on about retaliation. How do you maximize your articulation and verbalization to get your perspective across? Well, if you mean just in general, you practice. But what you got to understand is that perfect articulation and verbalization, as you say, does not guarantee relatability. Just because a person is able to eloquently articulate a point, that don't mean that people are going to relate to them. It may help, but The man that I believe in and follow, and his teachings that I believe in and love to death, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you knew anything about his history, he was not an articulate, well-spoken man. He wasn't going to blow you away with his articulation skills. He spoke broken English. He had a Southern accent. Wasn't perfect. He wasn't grammatically correct in his delivery all the time. But he attracted hundreds and thousands, and to this day, millions, through his words and through his teachings. Because one thing that sometimes an overly articulate person, I don't think I should say overly articulate. Sometimes when you're on that level, you have the ability, or we have the ability, to speak over people's heads sometimes. I don't even understand. You're using all these big fancy words. I don't even understand what you're talking about. But the person who speaks plain language, clear-cut, plain, understandable language, they cut right to the core. And that's the person, oh yeah, I get that. That's why a lot of rappers get mad at the other rappers who rap basic. That man, that dude rap like he cat in the hat, like he in the third grade, man. I'm around here talking about the universal curriculum. And they like, man, we don't know what you mean. So to tie that in with Dave Chappelle, he's an intellectual comic, but he has a balance. It's not so overblown to where we can't even grasp what he's talking about. We can't comprehend it. Nah, it's still plain. But if you don't have a common sense or just a slightest element of being able to process some kind of intellectual thought, then he might not be for you. Is that Indab? I can't even pronounce your name. Like, really, what the hell is going on? Dave turned down a huge offer from Netflix. How the hell they still share the same bed? I don't know the financial aspects of his situation with Netflix. I know they have a long-standing relationship, but I don't know the details, brother, to be honest with you. See what y'all talking about, man. Taft Dollar, I can tell you what happened to part one. Y'all call me conspiracy theorist all you want. They cut me off. They cut me off. And see, here's another thing that happened during that whole incident. I read where Jamie Foxx was there. Chris Rock was actually there too. And Jamie Foxx said at first he thought it was staged. He thought it was part of some kind of routine. And see, that's the danger of these kind of situations. When you look at with Chris Rock and Will Smith and all that, it's still kind of speculation that was rigged up and that was staged. But whether it was or whether it wasn't, even if the thought that it might have been staged is in existence in the atmosphere and among certain people. So now when a real situation happens, or if a real situation happens, that moment of hesitation that a person might have because they might think it's staged, they doing a little skit. That moment of hesitation could cost somebody. Oh man, I didn't know it was real. That's the climate we in. Comedians are becoming a realer threat to the establishment. Just watch the clip as presented by both ABC and TMZ. The former clipped and sped it up so that we can get an image of a shell hitting a target. Yeah, well, certain comedians, that's why I just got through talking about artists who specialize in what I call safe language. Certain comedians will go there politically, all the way back. You can go back to Richard Pryor, you can go back to Dick Gregory, you can go back to George Carlin. But then you have safe comedians who would never touch that type of stuff because they were in bed with the establishment to the degree. And then some of those others I named, Richard Pryor was mainstream and underground at the same time. But a lot of comedians, of today, they don't go there like that. Dave is probably the only one. Maybe Cat Williams. And you see what they try to do to Cat. But Dave is one of the few, one of the handful that will go there. He'll talk about the government. He'll talk about the LGBT. He will go there. But never, in my opinion, from a place of malice. He's saying how he really feels. What he's expressing is how he actually feels. But those LGBTQ jokes he made, there was no malice in those jokes. There was no hate. There was no bashing. We're none of that in them jokes, man. But the twist was implemented because they don't want you to say nothing. Don't even crack a joke about me. Dictatorship. You've become what you complained you were a victim of. That's all he was saying at some points. Well, that's right, Orlandis. You're a fool if you don't defend yourself. Triple X said, I think they broke his arm. That wasn't enough. Wouldn't have been enough for me. To have broke his soul. See what y'all talking about, man. I ain't reading no comments that don't have nothing to do with what we talking about. Y'all hit the like button for your big brother, man. I hate they cut me off, man. I don't like doing part 2s and stuff, but I had a few more things that I had to say. Phantom Face says, seems like everyone is a threat and everyone is being threatened simultaneously. Some just want to live and some want smoke and flames. Yeah, that goes back to what I just said. The game we are in right now is no longer a spectator sport. You just got to pick what side who team you playing on. Ain't no standing around and watching. Standing around and watching is not an option. Chappelle did it quite tactfully, actually, and kind of disclaimed at the same time. He handled it like a professional in terms of he came back out and still continued on with the show and all that. You know, that's the first thing. Well, he handled it like a professional, but the crazy part about situations like this, man, is that you don't know how you will react until you're in that situation because you don't come into your event expecting something like this to even be something that happens. You're not even thinking about that, especially in a big venue, in a big setting like that. That's the last thing. I'm pretty sure, security or not, Dave didn't. He was like, okay, we got security. That's just a measure, But ain't nothing gonna happen. I'm sure he didn't feel like nothing like that was gonna happen. But my point to this whole thing is that the execution of the security measures, the security detail needs to be better, needs to be changed up. We're in a different time, man. We're in a different time. AK-47 says, I'd rather sleep in bed than sleep on the ground in the dirt where snakes attracted to the heat, and I'm scared of snakes but respect them. The real says, yeah, the cutoff scares me. The fact they can target small streams with precision scares me. Ain't nothing to be scared of, bro. But what you got to understand is that we're in a different day. And to attack a small stream, which my stream is small, my stream is microscopic. I got 50 people on here right now. That's not a lot of people at all. I see streams, I see people going live, got 25, 30,000 people on at the same time. 5, 10,000 people at the same time. But the attacking of a small stream is to make sure that it never becomes a large stream. So there's a saying that says, nip it in the bud. You nip it in the bud. That's the story of my whole rap career. They recognized early that this guy right here wasn't gonna be on no mainstream level. And I commend them for it because they were right. They were like, man, if this guy gets on a mainstream level, he gonna blow this thing. He gonna blow the top off of this thing we trying to do. And they were right. Because I'm still gonna do it. Just might not reach as many people as I would have liked for it to reach. So that's the reason why. Ain't nothing to be worried about. Allah's God. See? And PR, that's what we want to prevent, man. You can't tell the truth. They need people to stay asleep. Walter Dirks, you're right. And we have to always see, these are words that society is now in the process. Y'all got to remember this. Society is currently in the process of making certain words to appear insignificant and to make certain words, if used, to make you look like it's something wrong with you. So if you use the word or you bring attention to by using the word agenda, oh, here they go with the agenda. It's an agenda this, agenda that, agenda this. And they try to downgrade the significance of that by making it like you are a conspiracy theorist, a crazy conspiracy theorist who is speaking about some far-fetched agenda that actually doesn't exist. Yeah, it exists. It exists. So the word woke, the same thing. The word woke used to be a good thing. Now it's being made out to be like, there you go with these old woke people. These old woke Negroes. Now woke is made to be a demeaning, a derogatory statement. Oh, you one of them woke. Yeah, I'm trying to be one of those woke people. Because ain't nothing wrong with being woke. Man, y'all better learn to stay on subject. I ain't addressing nothing that's not about this topic I'm talking about right now. This is not just about Dave Chappelle. It's not, man. This is about you at your job, you that's trying to rap, you on stage, me on stage, him on stage, her at the club. This is about raising the antenna. See if I can do it. Like, you ever seen a movie where it'd be like, an antenna comes there? It's about raising your awareness because of the times that we live in. And the times that we live in dictate the agenda, and it dictates how we should be found moving. You can't be walking around with blinders on, man. Pay attention to your surroundings. Felonious Mayhem says control over speech and thought. I'm going to tell you why that's a great point. I'm glad you said that, Felonious Mayhem. Ooh. I don't know if you know how deep that statement is, bro, because here's the deal. Once again, when the so-called powers come out against an individual, right? When they come out against an individual, right, who stands up on the truth, who condemns their dirtiness, right? The so-called powers then attempt to make an example of that person by, like I said earlier, taking away their positions, career, money. They set to make an example out of them. They humiliate them in public. They make them bow down. They break them, right? So the breaking of that individual is not just about that individual. It's about the other entertainers who are on the sideline, like just like back in the days of slavery. They would destroy and demean the biggest and strongest of the slaves in front of the rest of them. Like, look, this y'all biggest and baddest one. And look what I did to him. To make the others not even think about rebellion, not even think about even verbally expressing any type of dissatisfaction. So the same can be said as it relates to your comment, Felonious, because now even the crazy people who are running on stages, running on the basketball court, but I won't use the basketball court as an example because they were trying to make a political stand. They weren't going to attack nobody. They was trying to pour something on the court. But those people who run on the stage to actually attack the performer, what they are also trying to do, they are trying to strike a fear in other performers. Like, it's more of us out there. We in every city. It's more of us out there. So y'all better watch what y'all say. Better watch the stances that you take. And I know we got some EIFs in here, man. I know. The EIFs, means, y'all still know what the EIF, I'm gonna see who really been rocking with me for a long time. See? What the EIF stand for, see who was really rocking with me. It's still, there you go. Everything is fake. It's a lot of people who feel like everything that they see on TV, oh, that's staged. They're creating a distraction to do something. Sometimes that's true. But everything is not staged, man. And if we lock ourselves into that mindset to where we don't believe that anything is a reality, then it's going to be easy for us to fall victim to an actual reality when it hits. Boy, tell a quacker up in this thing, man. See? I don't know what y'all talking about in here. Is that Urgent Legend? Appreciate the love and support, man. Appreciate the donation. What do you think is the way to fix this for future generations? Well, like I said, you know, in terms of what we saw, we have to secure ourselves, man. We got to educate ourselves and secure ourselves and never take anything for granted. Don't take a walk to the store for granted. See? Got to protect our women. Because God forbid one of these cats run on stage to attack a female artist. I've seen it. I've seen a dude snatch Beyonce by the leg and try to pull into the audience in front of 50,000 people. See, we don't really understand that there are actually some messed up people running just in our midst every day. You work with them, you live around them, you go to school with them, you live with them, you one of them. See? Everything is not staged and fake, and I mean there's an element of that. I'm not oblivious to knowing how this devil operates. He'll throw some smoke and mirrors up, but he'll also throw some reality at you and at us. And see, Blast Beat, see that topic, I pray that never happens. But see, that's, like I said, that's what I was talking about when the Will Smith slap first started happening. Like I said, people look at things and then they say, it gives them ideas. It's like, and when you, and at the root of this topic is me saying how easy it was for that dude to get to Dave Chappelle. It was too easy for him, man. It was too easy. That's the scary part. That's the part that bothers me, that rubs me the wrong way more than anything. Is he should have never been in there with that particular weapon. That weapon should have never made it past. What do they do? They just let everybody in. They just let everybody in. Y'all come on in. You got a bag? Okay, yeah, bring your bag in. Come on. Oh no, we're not gonna check the bag. We don't need to know what's in it. Just bring it on in. Oh, you can sit up right up front. Yeah, that's cool. No, we don't have anybody stopping that. Just feel free to just run on up there. That was the problem. Yeah, PR, front row seat. Probably bought the ticket. Definitely bought the ticket. And again, had he been able to take Dave down, bro, do you know how quick you can do damage in a couple of seconds? You get somebody down, you can, but with a weapon, that changes everything. We are in a time of heightened sensitivity, so that requires heightened security. Don't be the person who feels as though that aspect, having security, is a negative. Don't let nobody trick you into that, man. Seems to me celebrities aren't even protecting. Look, let me explain something to you. Even by security that's hired. Look, bro, that's a real statement. Some of the greatest assassinations that have ever taken place throughout history were carried out simply because there were agents, undercover agents, in the security detail of the person who got assassinated. Malcolm X had undercover police officer, he had an undercover police officer as his main man security. All kind of agents and stuff surrounding individuals. You supposed to be protecting them. You stand there like you protect them, but all the while you working for the government. You working for the police station. So it's a crazy thing, man. You pay this guy off. You can pay this guy enough money, he'll let somebody get close to you. See? It's crazy, man. Jonathan Finley. Man, the president of the USA had his wife's security detail infiltrated. Man, which president was that? I don't be paying attention to a lot of that stuff. See? So I had to speak on that, man. My dissatisfaction is with the lack of protection that Dave had around him. Man, y'all, hold on, man. Let me go back and check something, man, because we got a lot of weird people in this thing right now that are talking about a bunch of stuff that don't need to be talked about right now. Oh, no. Even though I'm finna sign off, I'm finna get rid of this nonsense. Hold on. Y'all ain't gonna do this to me. Not the kid. What's up, G Lyrical? Christos. No metal detectors, that's right. Y'all ain't gonna do this to the kid today, brother. No, sir. Let me remove something. Y'all not gonna put all of this stuff on my page during me. I'm serious right now. Yeah. Y'all ain't on subject. You will be removed. All right, that's all I wanted to do. Peace, y'all.